Yo, it's inaccurate. I've made up my mind. It's not accurate. Oh, hello everyone. Ooh, ooh, Mm, mm, mm. Oh, wow. Ah, that's a better idea. Oh, wow. It always feels like it's been like a year since I streamed every time, every Monday. Every Monday, I tell you. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Medley number 186. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at not having to check. Okay. Good morning, Cyber. Good morning, JD. Welcome. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Mine was okay. Mmm. I got the crank now, guys. It's not smooth. It's not smooth, but the window man did the thing. Thank you, window man. Do I ever wear a watch, Cyber? Yeah, just about any time I leave my house. That's why in those pictures of me in those pictures of me those pictures of me in Korea, I'm wearing a watch that I post so often. What do you got, Cyber? Oh, I just said, why do you ask, Cyber? What makes you ask that question? Oh, good morning, Lindsay. You know what's funny, Cyber? When I first started wearing a watch, it was a pride thing, and I'm talking like first, so like maybe I was, maybe I was like 13, like a digital watch, maybe even a little bit younger. And I can remember, I think it might have been my pastor at the time told me that mean, this isn't necessarily true, but this is what he told me. He was like, men who wear watches because they need to keep track of time because they have places to be. They're basically important people. Like if you see a guy wearing a watch, it's because his time is valuable. He needs to know what time it is at all times of day. And so I remember I started wearing a watch because I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I mean, I didn't have obligations or anything, but I just wore a watch because I was like, oh, maybe this will make me feel important. And then as cell phones became a big thing, I stopped wearing watches because I'm like, I'm always going to have my cell phone on me and there's the time on it. And then a few years ago, I started wearing watches so that I wouldn't take out my phone because I feel like a lot of times I was trying to not be on my phone as much. And if somebody said asked me what time it was, or I wanted to know what time it was, I would take out my phone to check the time. And then I would end up scrolling through a bunch of social media, then put my phone away and realize I never actually checked the time. So I started wearing a watch so that would be eliminated. I wouldn't do that anymore. If I needed to know what time it was, I could just look at my wrist without possibly getting stuck in like a weird Facebook, Instagram, Twitter loop. But yeah, I mean, when I leave my home, I like to keep track of time, especially now with quarantine, specifically pertaining to like businesses, how late they're open, how long they're open, you know. But also, I will admit, it's kind of like a force of habit. Like I'm getting ready to leave my house, and it's like wallet, phone, keys, watch. That's like my like checklist. I have to make sure I have all these things. Is this Luigi news, Ava? Hmm. Sorry, I didn't finish my performance. Sorry, Ava, I didn't want to step on the news at all. Part of me thought that I was making a joke and that I wouldn't be right. Good morning, Leona. Oh, thanks, Leona. People have been trying to find anything extra at all in that game. Ava, Shadow Colossus, they've been like data mining the heck out of it, trying to look for something, anything. And as a person who loved that game, and also as a person who feels a little weird about data mining things, I don't like it when people do that. Um, I did as at the completion of that game want more. I wished there was more, but then I thought to myself that which is better, wishing that there is more at the end of the game, or wishing the game had ended sooner, and that I didn't have to play all of it. And I guess I got the better of the two halves of those hypotheticals. So Shadow Colossus was great. Mm. Mm. You know what's funny? Okay, so a few of you guys in the stream know that kiwi gives me like scratchy throat, and I woke up today with like a kind of an itchy throat. Like I thought that I might be getting sick, which I don't feel particularly good about because I've been being very healthy and staying away from people. But anyways, maybe getting a little bit sick because I got my scratchy throat. And then I made my smoothie this morning and I put a rather large chunk of kiwi in it. And I think it's making my scratchy throat go away. Like it's canceling it out somehow. I don't know. Might be too early to tell. You know, whenever I'm sick, drinking a smoothie always makes me feel temporarily better, but I don't know if it's actually doing anything. Anyways, good morning to everybody in the stream in case you didn't get your good morning, or in case you're one of the people in the stream that just chills and doesn't say anything. Good morning to you. I just don't know you're here. Hello, Maddie. Thank you, Maddie, for being in the production stream last Friday for as long as you were. Also, thank you, JD, for also being there. JD was there, right? I'm not making anything up. For anybody that was in the production stream last Friday, thank you for being there. It was a good one, pretty successful. We had a couple of freezes, you know, a little bit of bugginess, but it was all one solid video, and we did hit the 6 hour mark, which I feel pretty good at. I feel pretty good about. 6 hours is like an easy stream for me now. At least for some reason, sitting at that thing when I'm working, like I said in the last Thursday stream, guys, when I'm working on music, hours fly by. This doesn't make time pass by as simply. But when I'm actually like working on like building tracks and mixing and doing all that stuff, time flies. So the 6 hours is a pretty breezy stream. It's a pretty breezy stream. Oh, kiwi cure sickness. Maybe. I don't think I've ever been sick around kiwi. How long did it end up going? I think it was like 6.5 hours. Manny, I want to say like 6:30 maybe. I think that's funny too. Wednesday. Oh, this smoothie's good. Time does go by really fast when you're building songs. I can't stress that enough, guys. I know I've said this quite a few times, but when I work on music, I do work on music for anywhere from like 9 to 12 hours. Anyway, that's how long my writing sessions are, which is why, I don't know those of you that did see it back when I was on Instagram, but I usually keep a bowl of kiwis underneath my, I'm not sorry, I got kiwi on the brain. I keep a bowl of cuties underneath my desk, so it's like little clementines, because I just try to keep like my hydration and vitamins up while I'm like working on something for that long. But I don't want to peel and eat something as noisy and juicy as fruit on stream, so I didn't eat them. I waited until after the stream was over to actually eat something. Production stream, you're like, this can't be a habit. Yeah. I think, first of all, let's talk about the first production stream. The first production stream was riddled with bugs, and I had to restart the stream 3 separate times. So there was a lot going on in the stream besides just production, so it felt a little bit longer, if I'm being honest. It felt longer, and I was like a little bit more exhausted and maybe aggravated by the end of it than I was for the past couple. So that's why I didn't want to do that, as if the streams kept running like that, I didn't want to make that a habit. They were smooth. Thanks, Lindsay. What's up, Crowd? gave that to you? Cyber, the internet? The internet give you that sign? I mean, I know it was like a far cry from big dick energy, I guess. And now it's just turned to big anything energy. I do if it's cold, but it's not. It's warmer, so no. I don't feel 100% comfortable answering that question, though. Let's not talk about when I work out. What a novel tigress memory. Guys, I live in Los Angeles. Mm. Signal songs are such good warm-up songs. I mean, even in context, it doesn't make a lot of sense, Dar. I mean, a lot of people will say, like, if I'm like, oh, if it's cold out, people are like, you live in Los Angeles. It never gets cold in Los Angeles. People will do stuff like that. It's kind of like how, like, because, like, I'm born in Arizona, right? And people would go, like, on the internet, people would go, oh, it's hot. It's hot today. And then everybody in Arizona goes, what do you mean it's hot? Only 99 degrees. It's up to 112 here in Arizona. You don't know what hot is. Like, no, I mean, it can be cold in LA for people that live in LA. It can be hot in New York for people that live in New York. I understand. It's the Mr. Game & Watch. It's like Popeye characters from Popeye. Yeah, Dar gets it. It's like, you know, like Steamboat Willie, how like no character stood still. Come on, guys, you played what is it, Cuphead, Cupman? That's actually, no, that's really funny, Dar, because I remember the first time I was in Detroit. I've talked about this story so many times, but the first time I was in Detroit, that's maybe the coolest I've experienced. I never experienced 0 before, you know. I never experienced a negative Fahrenheit degree in my entire life, and I was like, oh, this just hurts. I wouldn't describe this as cold. I would describe this as like pain levels. Now we're talking about just levels of pain, like the little like smiley face scale, like in a doctor's office. I wouldn't measure this in degrees. I would measure this in like misery points, I guess. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, so when I say it's cold in Arizona because it gets like 36 degrees, you know, or 40 degrees. This is why people get like really elitist about cold. So like I get it, but also it's like, come on, guys, acclimation is a thing. It can be cold in LA. Like when it gets down into the 40s for LA, because you have to think about range, you know. LA will get up to like 105, and so if you've been experiencing 105 for a while, and then it drops down to 40, it's pretty cold, you know. And so I would say, yeah, in the colder days, because my windows are almost always open. I don't really have my windows closed. In the colder days when I'm working out in the morning, I actually prefer those days because by working out you get warmer. You know, in the summer it's, you know, there's nothing you can do. I don't have like central AC, so in the summer I just have to like sweat like an idiot while I'm working out in the apartment. Mm. It's a good standard of measurement. Mm. Ava says, alright, we got 105 in summer and negative 20 in the winter. That's a big range. I like that. I like that. We should all have that, Ava. We should all have that. I've only been in negative degrees going into a warehouse walk-in freezer. Big no. Yeah, it was trash. I'd say, as somebody who doesn't live in Detroit and who considered living there for a second just because of the cost of living being so low, I very quickly reconsidered after actually walking around in that winter. That was awful. However, I will say, Cyber's talking about bringing a jacket. I will say you can't really buy proper winter stuff in LA at just clothing stores. You have to go to like a specialty store. So I wasn't exactly going to Detroit with like clothes for winter. Like I had coats, but like LA coats, you know, and I had like thermals and stuff like that and hoodies, but like LA hoodies. I didn't have anything that was like lined with, you know, the stuff that keeps you warm. So there's a lot that goes into it for sure. Um, hmm. Detroit is cramped, isn't it? I would. There's a lot of words I would use to describe Detroit, Dar, but cramped isn't one of them. When you say cramped, okay, I got back from 2 weeks in Philly and it was so cramped. What do you? Do you mean congested? Is that how you're using the word cramped? Yeah, I would not call Detroit cramped. Um. Oh, okay. No, no. By those standards, by Philadelphia standards, no. Detroit is not cramped. Um. Oh, that was weird. Okay. No, I wouldn't call it cramped. I would only call sections of Philly cramped. But I love that. Do you not like that? Cramped is a word. Cramped is a word, Dar. I haven't heard it used specifically in that way. People usually will be like, "Oh, the city's very congested or compact," but I never have heard cramped. That's cool. Um, yeah, I wouldn't call Detroit cramped. In fact, while I was there, the city, for it to be an urban city, felt actually pretty like chill, as far as like population and it being compact. But Jesse would be a far better source on information about Detroit than I would be. I think the coldest it gets in the Bay is like 30. That's cold to me. That's cold. That's jacket weather, baby. Um, I'd give that to Chicago over Detroit. Says Jesse, as far as tall buildings creating a vacuum, the city gets very windy. Yes. Cities compact, the suburbs are somehow worse. Huh. Dar. Dar. You don't like how am I supposed to drive? Oh. Wait, Dar, where are you from? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer. Where are you from though? Sorry, my hair is doing wild things. This is what a side part looks like, by the way, guys. When like you've had a rough weekend, it's a mess on the head. We're really light on skyscrapers, unfortunately, says Jesse. The suburbs are worse, but that's suburban NIMBYism. Ooh, other nonsense. Oh, talk about it, Jesse. Talk about it. Okay, yeah, it's a side flute. Heck yeah. Why are you just finding out about what? Oh, that Dar is also Alabama. Was Dar here for the Alabama conversation? Probably not. Anyways, yeah, you guys are state buddies. Okay, so let me get this right, Dar. What was that? That was nice. There it is. Lenses from the south, but not specifically here. Okay. Run, flee. Oh. Okay. Okay, listen. Dar. I imagine being from wide open areas, congested city. Sorry. I'm just going to use your word because I like it. I imagine being from Birmingham or wherever in the South, being in a cramped city could probably feel suffocating. And like, oh, there's people everywhere. Oh, these streets are too narrow and everything's too cramped. And I totally get that. Uh, I had the opposite. Um, I guess feeling towards congested cities, and I want to say it's TV's fault. TV showed me people living in close proximity. TV showed me San Francisco, like Full House. TV showed me New York via Friends and Seinfeld and a million other shows where people really did live like compact. People could like open a window and like yell down at somebody on the street or their neighbor or something like that, and it felt fake. It felt like Dickensian almost, like a thing that was like made up, like not a real world where you could just have that level of connectivity to other people. Connectivity, probably both words, but I didn't know that that was a real thing. Um, Also, Sesame Street, yeah, it was a big thing. You mean everybody on Sesame Street like lived really compact? People were living on top of each other. People are like eating a sandwich, and then like I don't know, one of the Muppets sticks its head out of like a garbage can or like a cupboard or something, and there's a whole world. Like I liked the idea of that because I was born in Arizona, which is a really good halfway point. Arizona is not rural, but it's also not like LA, New York, Houston, Austin. It's not big city, so I just wanted to live in close proximity to people. I like communities. I like tight knit communities, and an easy way to form a tight knit community is forcing all the people to live in close proximity to one another. So, for example, my living situation now, like I just described, I can like open the window, crank, and like talk to my neighbors, or like the garbage truck that comes through every time. I've seen the same garbage man a bunch of times. He always waves at me because we're almost like eye level, with yeah, he looks directly into my window. There's that. There's Tamale Man. There's like the ice cream man. There's the elote man. There's the mailman. There's the Prime guy, which I feel like we get the same Amazon Prime delivery guy. Doesn't deliver here all the time, but I recognize him. It's interesting, you know. I like that level of community, as opposed to living like in the suburbs, kind of out and where there's more privacy and people don't talk to you as much. I understand why that can be desirable, but it's just not something that I appreciate. You have an elote man. I do have an elote man. Liana. Okay. I'm personally a fan of cramped suburbs. Oh. Hmm. I like that because no hills. Dar does not like hills. Houston is 5 states worth area. Long drives on the highway. Word. I just don't like where you. I don't like when you can barely operate on the roads. You know how hard it is to get the couch in my brother's apartment building? Okay, so moving, yeah, moving is a nightmare. I'm not talking about moving though. I'm talking about once you're moved in, then it's cool. Absolutely, moving in the big city is. Sorry, that kiwi is really doing a number on my throat. It came back. It came back. Hmm. Even buildings that are separate are super skinny, for sure. Absolutely. Oh man. Hmm. So it's the roads that you don't like. Okay. Check this, darn. Check this out. Nobody likes those. Nobody likes those roads. I live in a big city. I don't like the roads. That's why I don't drive anywhere. That's why all my Instagram stories are like me on the subway, me on like buses and stuff. Freaking hate the roads. I'm not gonna drive around downtown. It's a nightmare. I care about my life and my car, my stress levels. I'm not gonna drive around there. Shouts out to all the like cab drivers and Uber drivers that do that every day, but not for me, baby. Now I do know how to drive around my city. If you ask me to drive somewhere, I can get there. But if somebody's like, "Yo, meet me at 3 o'clock at Pizzanista, and then we're gonna go hit up a shop called Quest," I'd be like, "Okay." At 3 o'clock, I was like, I can leave my house at 2:45 and get there on time, or I could leave my house at 2:25 and just take the subway and get there at the same time. I'm gonna take the subway because I'm not gonna drive to downtown and then drive around the block 18 times looking for street parking and then finally get street parking and then get like a ticket or get towed or something. I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, as far as driving around the compact or cramped city, as you said, none of us like it. I think it's more of a yeah. Nobody really likes that. I think living in the city though, and like the convenience of being that close to a lot of things is really nice. But yeah, no, screw the streets as far as driving. I'll tell you when everyone likes this video, please. Aw, thanks, Cyber. Yeah, if everybody could like the video, that would I think it puts money in my pocket or something. Uh, Driving in the city of Philly was to be honest, better than driving in the suburbs. I love Philly, guys. I love Philadelphia. I also consider moving to Philadelphia. Their winters are still pretty rough for me. I don't want to deal with Philly winter, but downtown Philly, what was it called? City Center? Center City or something like that? Center City, Philadelphia. Oh my god, I fell in love walking around those streets. And I was looking at some of the apartments, and compared to LA, I was like, these are not bad. I mean, compared to the average household in America, it's trash as far as cost of living. But compared to Los Angeles, it's not so bad. So I was like, I can move here. But I didn't. Anyways, Manny says, I don't even live in a very congested city and I still hate driving. Public transportation all the way, baby. Yeah. I feel like that is a little bit of a elitism, maybe even for me to say, Maddie, because one, you live in pretty dope city for public transportation. People crap on Seattle public transportation quite a bit, but every time I've taken it there, I've enjoyed it, and I think that it gets me where I needed to go. Although I don't live there, so maybe it's just because I was going to cool spots. And I also say the same thing about LA, but I'm also aware that not every city has a subway system. Not every city has dope trains and buses and stuff like that. For example, the city that I was born in has no subway whatsoever. It has one train. It has one line that goes in one line. You know, it's just east to west, and some of the stops, there's nothing really around it. I don't know. Anyways, okay. Oh, it's less like pop-up local restaurant stands. Oh. Southern hospitality is a bit of a lie, says Dar. Philly has much stronger sense of community, suburbs, and otherwise. Ooh. 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 I don't want to talk about the South because I have my own experiences in the South and they're not great. And so when people say Southern hospitality, I think that it does exist. It just doesn't exist for me. And I think that what you're saying, Dar, I think that Southern hospitality and urban community are two wildly different things. I think they're two very, very different things. I think that I just happen to prefer urban community to Southern hospitality. Southern hospitality doesn't feel to me genuine. It feel oh no. I'm gonna let you guys do your thing, but I have a very, very important theory about that. Well, not important, but very important to me theory about that. I feel like Southern hospitality is just something that's like ingrained in people's brains where it's not a genuine care for you. They don't actually care about you. They're just like that. They're just like that. In the same way that somebody might assume that Canadians are really, really nice and they like them. They don't have to be nice. Sometimes they're really passive aggressive, but the way they behave because of culture is just perceived as polite. In the same way that a lot of Southern people, the way they behave is perceived as being very hospitable. They don't actually have to care about you. Whereas urban community, the people actually do care about each other. Because it's like this one thing where it's like, yo, if one of us is hurting, all of us are hurting. If one of us gets sick, we might all get sick. If one of us gets the cop called on us, now we got cops in our neighborhood. And so people like take care of the community. It's like way more of a personal investment in urban communities than I feel like it is in a southern hospitable experience or transaction. You can get southern hospitality from somebody just from passing through their town. But in urban community, those people care about you because they know you. And some random passer through is not going to get that same love without giving something. I don't know. It's different. It is different, though. Anyways, to me, it's like a manner of speech or mannerism, says Liana. I like the urban community better. Same, Dar. Same, Dar. You can act nice to folks, but that don't mean you ain't racist. This is true. I'm just saying that I prefer the urban community. Especially as somebody that moved into one, like one of the larger ones in the nation. I prefer urban community because I feel like now the connections that I have with everybody in my community, like I'm protected. I've talked to at length. Remember when everybody in the stream like freaked out because I was like, oh yeah, I unlocked my door. Or like I was like, oh yeah, my door was wide open when I got home from so and so. People were like, that's crazy. Like I would have been robbed. And I'm like, nah, you don't understand. Like this is like, it's different. It's different. Because it's not just me. Like if something happens to me, something happens to all of us. And it's the same reason that like if the kids are out, like those aren't my kids, but I'm gonna like take care of the kids, make sure nothing's happening to the kids. It's just like a weird, it's like a family thing. It's a family thing. So I prefer that. I prefer that to hospitality. I've noticed that people will say something is fine and you're good, but have hidden intentions about how they really feel, says Diz. Now, this is true. A lot of places I feel. Liana's telling me to lock my door. Word up, Liana. Your neighbors are homie, says Kiwi. Oh, yeah, Liana. Kiwi's actually met my neighbors, so Kiwi knows what's up. No, my neighbors are. No, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening to me or my place. Good luck finding an urban community that has excellent roads. Ooh. No, they exist. Portland. Very white. Very white. And maybe not very dope for me, but it is an urban community, and their roads are immaculate. I haven't seen roads like that in a very long time. Southern hospitality seems like the remnants of slavery to me sometimes. Yeah, well, yeah, dark, because they are. Like the upholding of a hierarchy and respect seems to. Yeah. Demand a representation of ultimate respect, regardless of how you feel. Yeah. Dark, sure. I mean, yeah. Absolutely, dark. There's a reason I don't like going to this out. Well, there's like 50. Liana says, my neighbors are nice, and even they told me to lock my door. Different, Liana, different. Liana, if you ever get the chance to visit me, you'll see. You may not, though, but you just gotta trust me. It's hard to explain. Liana. Everybody that's been here gets it, but I definitely can see how somebody like who's never been here on the internet, I'm like, yo, I don't lock my door, and they're like, yo, you live in Los Angeles, you need to lock your door. Somebody's about to like ruin your whole career, and I'm like, nah, it's good. My neighbors are cool. I talked to them, and they're like, I don't care. I don't know your neighbors. I get that. I totally get that, Liana. But I'm okay. I've been here 6 years now. Well, almost. It'll be 6 years soon. I've been here longer than like a lot of the other people that have been here too, which is kind of wild now. Okay, like waiters and custodians and customer service seem to have to uphold the system. Most, the lower class, the poor, and in many cases, the BIPOC, baby. Okay, so it's double-edged sword, says Dar. Did something happen? How did this convo come about? This convo came about because Dar was talking about cramped cities. I live in the South, and even I lock my door, says Cyber. Because that's different. Ugh. Word, Cyber, though. And people leave their front door open for air breezes. Oh. Well, heck yeah. I mean, I don't have air conditioning. I'm not gonna close my door and roast in here. But word up. Yeah, to each their own. Absolutely. To each their own. I encourage everybody to lock their doors. I am not anti-lock. I am not anti-privacy. Please protect yourselves. However you deem you need to do that. Buy a sword. Buy a baseball bat. Lock your doors. Get a security system. Hire security personnel. I don't know. Whatever you need to do to feel safe, please do that. But if you feel safe in your current way of life, just, then you've done the thing. Congratulations. My front door would slam shut if it was windy, said Darn. Something about the draft. I think it's nice that you don't need to lock your door, but everything I've taught tells me to lock your door anyway. Absolutely. This doesn't, I watch enough crime to know to never leave my door unlocked. That's not fair, Maddie. I could say I've watched enough crime to never leave my house. I watch enough crime shows to know that my dad's gonna kill me. I watch enough crime shows to know that if I ever get married, my spouse is also gonna murder me. I've watched enough crime shows to know that if anything bad happens to me, it was probably my best friend, and they were probably plotting to do it the whole time. I've watched enough crime shows to know that the black person's usually guilty. I've watched enough crime shows to know that usually the poor person has motive to kill people because they're insane in the brain. I try not to be too informed by any type of crime media. I'm saying it can be a mess. It can turn me to a paranoid person. Real quick. Is this the thing? Yeah. Oh, Diz missed it. Yeah, I'm the person. Diz. I'm the person we're talking about right now. Having both doors open at a beach hotel is a death wish. Because of the wind? Or because of the sand? Darn. Oh, the wind. Word up. I think that ultimately, guys, if we're hitting the ultimate, it's important that you feel safe. Right? Do what you can to feel safe. As long as it's not making somebody else feel unsafe in the process, right? Care about other people. But ultimately, guys, none of you are safe. You don't need me to tell you this, right? You're not safe. If you lock your door, you're not safe. If you hire security, you're not safe, guys. No one's safe, but you can feel safe. And if going like this on your door makes you feel safe, then that's good. Please do that. If me going like this and going like, I got my box cutter on me makes me feel safe, then I'm going to carry around a box cutter. I do carry around a box cutter. But, no, I'm good here. I'm good here. The doors remain unlocked. This is getting dangerously close to anti-masker logic, and I'm not with it. No, that's a little bit different. Because me not locking my door doesn't endanger the people around me, right? Like, it's not a bunch of other people. But I see where you're going, Ava. I see where you're going. Mask logic is a little bit different. Because if you didn't wear your mask and you were the only person that was going to die, then I'd be like, okay, I mean, I guess don't wear a mask if you don't want to. It doesn't pay me no mind. But, I mean, you can actually end up hurting other people. So the mask thing is a little bit different. That's one factor in it that makes it a completely different argument. Yeah, see, just in case I ever encounter some boxes I need cutting. See, Dar understands. Dar understands. Dar understands. But yeah, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's wild, though, guys. That's so wild. I really wish that all you guys had my childhood and were from the areas that I was, because I feel like this conversation will be going so different. But I understand we all come from different backgrounds, so you guys are just gonna have to trust me on this one. Oh, they don't lock that. They don't lock it either, Dar. We have the same. We're the same on that, Dar. Yeah. I do have a roommate. They also don't lock the doors. We're from a pretty similar background. See eye to eye on a lot of things. I don't lock my door a lot of the time, just when I'm asleep mostly, says Lindsay. There's a very, very rich path of conversation down there, but I'm not going to drive down it. I'm just going to say I understand. I understand that. You're asleep. You gotta lock the doors. What's next? Omni are gonna tell us the Earth is flat. Says Diz. That's a pretty big jump between not locking the door and flat Earth, but no. I do believe the Earth is round. I do believe the Earth is round. Diz. Yes. Your neighbors are unhinged. This is what Dar says. Mine are not. They're okay. My neighbors are alright. When I'm awake, if someone comes in, you can say something to them. And if you're asleep, you can't say anything to them. Word. Oh, guys. Don't make me talk about this. I just have to trust you guys don't have my background. You guys don't have my background. I know that. And And so I understand how not locking the door sounds. Why do you seem so exhausted? Uh, I'm sorry, Lindsay. No, it wasn't you. You didn't say anything exhausting. I think a lot of my neighbors don't lock their doors, says Jesse. I've had the police and fire department come by, and they both tried to just open the door. Wait, why was the fire department there? Was something on fire? The police get. I mean, police just they just show up. I mean, they be murking. Obviously, it's different depending on where you live, for sure, Ava. It's different depending on where you live. We think one of their friends robbed us once, says Dara. Oh, snap. So we gotta lock them. That's different. Okay, yeah. That's different. Absolutely. My house actually never got robbed, probably because we have like one of those double doors. Everyone else has had one door, says Kiwi. I got a GPS, PS2, and a cat stolen over. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were doing something completely different. Okay, I got a GPS and a PS2 and a cat stolen over my time living here. Who steals a cat? They came in the wrong house by mistake, says Jesse. Oh, word. People who steal pets are awful. I didn't know these people existed, but I believe it. Oh, my neighbor was moving out the next day. She left stuff that was missing. She left her door unlocked and just nabbed it. Oh, okay. Alright, we sold kittens, so the cat was for sale, so at least it wasn't a personal pet. Sorry, that's not funny. It's just wild. Stealing an animal's wild if you're not going to eat it. Stealing an animal you're going to eat, I totally get. Maybe experiments is a unique one. Absolutely, Ava. This is an important thing to take into consideration. Ava's had animals, livestock stolen. So they're scared to even leave their door open. And when Ava tells me this story, I get it. I get it. That makes perfect sense. See that? See that? See how I understand Ava? I just, with my experiences and the neighborhood I grew up in, and how I understand how urban community works. Dar, we just talked about urban community. How I know how urban community works. If you've lived in a lot of urban communities, you can tell they're not all the same, guys. Now I don't want to get into like very specific things here. Like I don't want to talk about what it's like to live in a black urban community or a Hispanic urban community or a Hispanic urban community in East Los Angeles or a Hispanic urban community in Highland Park. There's a lot of different stuff here. Now we can get into like really intricate stuff, different communities. But you have to take into consideration that communities are different. And while in one community, maybe not locking your door could be a bad thing, or in one community, a girl walking to 7-Eleven could be, like, you know, by herself at 8 p.m. could be a bad thing. Not all communities are the same, and I think we can agree on that. And so in my community, it's actually okay not to lock your door. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. And if one of you guys lived here in my same exact apartment and lived by that same logic, you'd be okay. You'd be okay. There's like this really interesting thing. Oh crap! Wait, did you? You've seen The World Says Dark. I mean, I've seen pieces of it, but yeah. It'll be okay here. I think that also something to take into consideration, guys. Have you ever? This is actually a good conversation topic. Have you ever been in dealings with somebody? How do I want to put this? Have you ever been in dealings with somebody where they have a lot more to lose than you do, and so you feel safe with them because you're like, hey, they have. Like if you're maybe like in a car with a pregnant woman, and you're like, probably I'm okay, because they're not gonna put this woman in danger. She's got a little baby inside of her. They probably don't care enough about me, but if I stand close enough to this pregnant lady, maybe I can like be enveloped in her like bubble of like vulnerability. That is a thing. That is a thing, by the way. Maybe the pregnant thing is a too hyper specific example of that. But there's such thing as like being around somebody that has more to lose, or being in business with somebody that has a lot more to lose, and so you feel safe just by being kind of adjacent or in proximity to them. Because it's like, yo, they're not, nothing's gonna happen to me because they're gonna make sure nothing happens to them, and I'm right here. It's like it's like when somebody has on the bulletproof vest. No, not the bulletproof vest. Sorry, it's like a bomb vest. And they're like, yo, if you get anywhere near me, I'm gonna press this thing. I don't have anything to lose, but you don't want to die. So like, they got the button, and so like everybody has to be careful around Bomb Man. It's like that. Think about that. There are communities. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna pause mine because Cyber's saying something. Let's put it in context. Omni is also living on the second floor of an apartment, and oh crap. See, Cyber's going the logical way, which I could bring up, but I feel like if I did logic, people were gonna go, lock your door, bro. Anyway, so yeah, we can talk about logic. So okay, let's do it. I think Cyber's saying it, so let me go through Cyber's and I'm gonna add on to it. Cyber says Omni is also living on the second floor apartment, and there is one, maybe 2 points of entry to the apartment. He also has a line of sight from the street, so Omni is safer in regard since he's not on street level. Let's talk about logic, guys. Let's talk about logic because Cyber didn't come to play today. Cyber came to think. Cyber came to think critically. I live, guys, on a very unused street. And the reason that I live on an unused street, guys, is because I live at the end of a cul-de-sac. And if there's a street that's not a through street, people don't drive through it. Meaning that everybody that makes it to this part in the cul-de-sac lives here. When I've been sitting here, guys, and I've had this keyboard here for, again, over 5 years, as I'm sitting here and I look out, very rarely do I see a car that I don't recognize. It's the Domino's, it's Amazon Prime, Elote Man's here, Ice Cream Man's here, Tamale Man's here, my neighbor's here, my neighbor's boyfriend is here, her baby daddy's here. Like, I know the people that are coming in and out of the cul-de-sac. We all do. Also, a lot of you will remember in the streams you would always hear like kids yelling in the background. That's because there's mad families in this cul-de-sac, and all the families are like intertwined like this. So it's like everybody's kids are always playing in the cul-de-sac. I know all the kids that hang out in the cul-de-sac. Also, again, like as Cyber said, I'm at the end of a street and I'm on the second floor. So if somebody really did want to break into my apartment, let's say they wanted to break into my apartment, steal my PlayStation, they drive to the end of the cul-de-sac. They park somewhere. They get through my neighbors, who are going to stop them and say like, oh, where are you? Oh, you know Omni? You friends with Omni or something like that? Also, while they're saying all that, I can hear them. The walls are very thin, guys. That's why you can hear the crows. The crows aren't in my room. You can hear them. So, they'd have to get through all that and then go up the stairs. I can hear them. Somebody walking up the stairs, because this is a very old building, actually shakes the apartment. There's been times where I've thought somebody was walking up my stairs and they're actually walking up the stairs of the building next to me. That's just how like old and shaky these things are. So I could hear it. It's woken me up several times. I've fallen asleep in my apartment and somebody walking up the stairs has woken me up. Also, my other neighbor, who lives next door to me, who has the same stairs, doesn't really use the front stairs, so I can hear somebody going up those stairs. Nobody uses those stairs except for me and my guests. And if somebody's walking up the stairs and I don't have company, my neighbor's going to stop them. So, there's that. Also, I have a view of the entire street. People can't even walk on this street without me seeing them. I also have a view of the entire street from my living room. Everything faces south. It's actually a really nice view. I like this view. It could be distracting during the streams, but I have a view of the entire street. So there's that. Also, it's not like I have the most to lose in the situation of like safety in this cul-de-sac. Like I said, there's lots of kids down there. There's tons of kids. And if my neighbors have kids running around, they're going to be a little bit more like locked down with random people coming through the cul-de-sac. They're not just going to let some rando show up that nobody knows. So I think I'm okay, guys, with my door unlocked. I think that a PlayStation, as far as value versus like a 6-year-old kid downstairs, it's wildly imbalanced. And so I'll be okay, guys. You don't need to worry about my doors and the locks on them. And something to keep in mind is that if somebody really did specifically want to rob me or do me harm, the 80-year-old jiggly lock on my door is not going to stop them. It's a very old building, easy to break into. The windows are very old. You've seen them, how like rickety they are. If somebody really wants to do me harm, I'm, just like any of you guys, you're flesh and blood. You can die. You can still get murked. It is Los Angeles at the end of the day. A lock isn't going to make me feel any safer, guys. I hope this sobering point helps connect something in the same way that Ava's animal theft helped me understand why Ava doesn't feel comfortable with unlocked doors. You guys just got to take into consideration everything that's happening. And all communities are different. And I didn't just move here. I have lived here for a very long time. And so I know these people. And they know me. Okay. Anyways, moving right along, Ava says, oh, I don't worry about it, but I will disagree with it. 99.999% safe, but why not throw the latch up anyway? Don't hurt none. Oh, because I don't want to, Ava. Yeah, I just don't want to. But I hear what you're saying, Ava. There's a lot of harmless security measures that can be taken, for sure. There's a lot of them. But sometimes people just don't want to do them. I don't know. Anyways, if you leave your door unlocked here in Florida, it's over, says Toad. Florida's a very big place, Toad. So, maybe in the area that you live in Florida, communities are communities. I've got friends and family who have lived in other big cities that haven't locked their door. I know people that live in Florida that don't lock their door. I know people that live in New York that haven't locked their door. But just like LA, like I said about communities, not every community is the same, guys. This goes to Toad, this goes to Ava, this goes to everybody. Not every community is the same. If I move, 3 blocks that way, maybe I do start locking my door. Maybe it's a different community, guys. Oh my god. Having it. Alright. I think, Dar's talking about a song coming out on Spotify. Dar's left this conversation. Probably a good idea. I probably should have left it a while ago too. Have those blinds always been there, says Cyber. These curtains? Always? No. I think that most LA apartments, when you move in, they come with those like clickety-clackety white panel vertical blinds, the like little shutter things. I took those down. I hate those things. Yeah. I hate those things. They're very noisy. And cheap. But also, they don't keep out the sun the way I wanted to. I wanted to be able to block out the sun if I was working on stuff because it gets hot in here. It's just specifically a temperature thing. But yeah. No, I bought these from, I think, Target or something like that. Put them up 3 years ago? 2017? Oh god, 2017. Jesus Christ. Yeah, screw those blinds though. Screw those blinds. These are new. The kitchen window still has them. That's great, Ava. At the very beginning of this hill that we're barreling down at a surprisingly slow speed, I said, if you feel safe, that's what's most important. If you have to feel safe. Ava says, I got a good analogy. I love analogies. I live in an extremely Republican state. As I did. I was born in one. Moving through the rest of this comment you say, but I still vote every year. Why? Because when inevitably my state votes for Mr. Cheeto Hands, I can say at least I tried. Okay. Yeah. Ava, first of all, that's a pretty good analogy. And exercises in futility, but also I agree. There's parts in my life where I exercise some futility. I'll have to think of one. Because it's all about feeling, right, Ava? Because if you tried, it makes you feel like you did something. If you lock the door, it makes you feel safe, right? If I check underneath my car for, I don't know, assailants after seeing Scream, I don't know what Scream movie that was, or whether it was like I Know What You Did Last Summer, but one of those movies, the killer's underneath the car and like cuts her ankle or something like that. Anyways, after I saw that movie, I did have like a weird like, I didn't even have a car yet, but like when I was getting into a car, I would kind of do this like quick like check underneath the car for assailants. Were there assailants ever under there? No. What's the probability of them being under there? Very, very low. But it made me feel better. That's why at the very beginning of this conversation, I said, as long as you feel safe. I feel safe. So I'm fine. You know? Because none of us are really safe, but you need to feel safe. It's like TSA, you know? Sometimes going through TSA makes people feel safe. Whether or not it's actually doing anything doesn't necessarily matter. What matters is how people feel. And if people feel like a terrorist attack is impossible because TSA's there, then maybe that's a good thing. It makes people feel good. I feel like it makes a lot of people really angry, but but at the end of the day, if you feel safe, if you feel like you're making a difference, if you feel good, I can't be one to tell you you're doing it wrong. You know, I will never go up to somebody and say, "Why are you locking your door? You live in the safest neighborhood. This is stupid. Take the door off the hinges, throw it away, man. No one's gonna do anything to you." Like, I'm never gonna do that. Like, it's important that you feel good. And if somebody doesn't lock their doors and at the end of the day they feel safe, I'm not gonna go like, "Oh my, you gotta lock your door, man. You're not safe at all. It's dangerous out here. They're killing people by the dozens." Like, I'm not gonna do that. You gotta feel good, feel safe, feel like you're making a difference. If somebody feels good, that's all I kind of care about. Especially if they're the ones that are at risk. I mean, if it's not going to hurt me, because that, Ava, you're right, that's where it gets into the mask argument. It's like, if it's not hurting me, I don't really care. You gotta take care of number one. But if it's all you, you know, if rubbing like butter on your face makes you feel good, if that's part of your skincare regimen, you know, it's like, it doesn't do me any harm. Keep doing it. Lather up, baby. But, you know, I'm not gonna be one to get between somebody and their feelings. Like for me, says Ava, it's not that I feel any safer. Oh, okay. It's that if something did happen, I will blame myself slightly less if I lock the door. Okay, two very, very similar things. One is more of a pre and one's more of a post, but same thing, right? Like, it's you. It's all you. It's not anybody else. It's your relationship with yourself. Like, you would feel better if you locked it, and you would also feel slightly worse if you didn't and something happened. I totally get that. I totally get that. Oh, crap. Can somebody... I don't have my... Oh, wait, hold on. I found it. Hold on. Oh, that's wild. I hate to bring it up because it's a singular anecdote, but I know of a true story. There is a convicted murderer who would go from house to house, several neighbors who Emma was, to try and open doors, but one by one until they opened, at which point he'd choose to kill them. Oh, I know that story. Cyber. I do. That's a good story to bring up, but it is a very singular one. It is like the Craigslist killer. Like, there was a Craigslist killer, but people still buy things off Craigslist, and it's okay. They probably won't get killed. I love the... You probably won't die. That's like... I love that. They should put that on like roller coasters when you get on. You probably won't die. People have died. But will you? Probably not. So get on the roller coaster. I've gotten on several roller coasters, and there's tons of stories of people dying on them. And if I got on a roller coaster, and I got like, I don't know, like my legs broken, Ava, would I feel like a little bad where I'm just like, I shouldn't have got on that roller coaster? Maybe. But that's just the reality. I'm okay. I'm like willing to take that risk, I guess. It's performative. They have to cater to the subconscious and the conscious biases of the majority, and that's not usually good, says Dar, talking about TSA, I believe. That's a conversation for sure. Cyber, I hate that so much, says Lindsay, about that singular example of somebody going door to door trying to open doors to kill people. Serial killers are atypical. You could also have a serial killer who decides to wait and only go for people whose doors are locked. Jesse came today. Jesse came for business today. Jesse had the tie on. Just like my checking underneath the car, just like my checking underneath the car. Unfortunately, no, I'm not gonna say that because that's a real thing. I'm not gonna say it, but something wild happens, and then sometimes people will prepare for that wild thing to happen again, and it's like, no, that was a random thing. And then there are things that happen every month or every year, like school shootings, and there seems to be very little prep for it. But I'm gonna wow, that's very left field. I'm not gonna go down that road. I will say though that I feel safe. At the end of the day, if you feel good, that's what's good. If somebody smokes cigarettes every day and they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong to their body, or they feel okay taking that risk, it's not my job to pull the cigarette out of their hand and go, "What are you doing, you dummy?" I just gotta go like, "Hey, not for me, bro. I'm not gonna smoke the cigarette." Or like, "Oh, not for me, kid. I'm gonna keep locking my door." But uh, you gotta just let people have their things. If they feel okay, it's okay. Now, if other people are at risk, then we can have the talk, I suppose. But like if I had like a kid or something, maybe if I had like a 3-year-old and I didn't live here, I lived somewhere else, then maybe it's a little bit different. You guys got to keep in consideration, I guess. Like I'm not like the head of a family, just like some random bachelor making music in an apartment. So it's a little bit different, right? There aren't a lot of lives that are hinged on me locking or unlocking my door. Whew, I've never had a dream about riding a roller coaster without flying off, regardless of how hard I tried. Sorry, and I always feel like thousands of feet at like over like over entire land masses. And I just landed. I'm fine. That's so annoying. Well, all right. Okay. All right, Dar. Oh, Christ. Jesse's talking about the car bomb thing. I've seen enough mobster movies where they just turn the ignition and the bomb starts, and I was like, how do I know if there's a bomb in my car? But then I thought the people that want to kill me probably aren't smart enough to know how to do that anyway. They'll just stab me like everybody else that lived on the block that I grew up on. So that's when I got over the bomb in the car fear. But yeah, it is a very singular. I'm sorry, flying off a roller coaster in a dream, especially where nothing was hurt, Dar. You weren't even injured. Now I see stories of like the FBI adding trackers to people's cars, to places that look like OEM parts that don't notice until they fall off or go for maintenance or something. The head of a family, can you imagine? I cannot, Lindsay. Oh, thanks, Cyber. At least I'm somebody's bachelor. My dreams are wild. Got a reoccurring one with black and white where I'm an axe murderer chasing a lady. And, oh, you are the axe murderer. And they would be locking their doors. Anyways, you're an axe murderer chasing a lady and murdering her, but I'm also the lady being murdered. Oh, no, that's dope. That's really cool. Don't tell that to anybody else, Ava. Don't tell that to one of those like dream people. I don't want them to get you all mixed up. I don't want them to tell you like what that means. It don't mean anything. That's a dope dream. I would watch that movie. My mentality has become if they want to get you, they'll get you. Ugh. There are parts in this stream. I'm gonna get to the medley, guys. I promise. Cause we've been going like an hour and a half. There are parts in this stream. Throughout the stream, there are episodes of this stream where I will usually connect really hard with somebody. And I don't know what it is. Me and Ava had a moment. I don't remember what it is. I think it was when we were talking about like careers in art or something like that, like art careers. Me and Lindsay have had our moments. Usually when talking about music, specifically like the creation of it and like Fruity Loops and stuff like that. Me and Cyber have had a lot of moments, maybe the most, because Cyber makes a lot of references that I like. And talks about like video games that I like and stuff like that. Anyways, I've had like moments with everybody. I think this is my first moment maybe with Jesse. I feel like Jesse's saying a lot of things in the stream that are very, very similar to my thought process, which is like interesting because I don't know that I've had that before. But yeah, Jesse, that's my mentality. I think there's this thing. I don't live my life super recklessly, right? But I'm going to say growing up, I saw a lot of like really messed up things happen to people around and friends of mine, and it sucks. And now I don't have some of those friends anymore, right? Like they're gone, and no one can really do anything about that. But it's changed the way my brain worked a little bit, where it's like, yo, if somebody really does want to get to me, they want it. If somebody really wants to take my PlayStation 4, if somebody really does want to end my life, if somebody really does want to do X amount of things, they're passionate about this thing, that's their goal, I can't stop them. I can prolong it, with maybe some like extra defenses and paranoia or whatever, but I don't know that I can stop it. I don't know that I can stop it from happening. And so that doesn't mean that I run around, that doesn't mean that I like withdraw all the money from my bank account and then I run around with it in my lapels and stuff like that down Main Street going like, anybody can take it. Like, that doesn't mean I do that, but it just means that I don't occupy space in my brain with like worries that much anymore. Because I'm like, yo, if they want it, they'll get it. So I'm gonna instead focus my energy towards doing other things. I'll be as secure as is gonna make me feel good, but I can't go overboard. I can't go to the level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 because it's a game I can't win. It's just gonna drive me crazy, and it's a game that I've played. So Jesse, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I'll wake up with the back tingles and we'll stop. But if I fall back asleep quickly and the nightmare restarts, I'll wake up again with the back tingles. Are you talking about this roller coaster thing? Is that a nightmare? I'm sorry, Dar. Is that a nightmare? Are you talking about a nightmare or are you talking about a different thing now? Are you talking about the roller coaster thing? Back tingles. Jesus Christ. Alright, well. Oh, what are they doing? If I get hurt in nightmares, it's always my back and my body will get back tingles. It's like a simulation of the pain. Well, that's fun. Got a little VR action going on. If I get slashed in the back, then my back tingles. They aren't fun. Oh, so it's not fun. Yo, I love nightmares. I've talked about this in the stream though, so. Does anybody remember me saying that? Pardon me if I came late, but the brain is super interesting like that. I'm imagining those two things are related. I remember you saying that, and I still don't get it. Nightmares are so good. Nightmares are so good for me. Nightmares suck, says Dar. They always end in back to... Hold on. Sorry, my downstairs neighbor is getting their kitchen retiled, and it's like homie's just cutting tile, I guess, all day today. So that's what that sound is. Yeah. I like nightmares for the same reason I like horror movies. Now, the big difference somebody could say between nightmares and horror movies is that consent. We all consent to horror movies, at least I hope. But a lot of people don't consent to nightmares. And that I understand is a very, very important part, right? I love every year for Halloween going to Universal Studios and walking through all the haunted houses because I like this kind of financial transaction, this like agreement where it's like, hey, I'll give you money. You can simulate an anxiety attack for me for like a little while, but I'll know that at any point in this experience, I can go like, yo, tap out. I don't want this anymore. Or I know that like you can't touch me, for example. A lot of fear for me is I could go through a whole thing. Like there's actually a really cool YouTube video about the difference between like terror and horror. So I'm not really gonna get into a lot of that, but I feel like a lot of fear for me is more terror, or it's like I don't know. It's like the before the thing happens, right? It's like I'm afraid of the thing happening. The thing happening usually isn't so bad. Like I'm afraid of somebody like chopping my head off or something like that, right? But the actual act of getting my head chopped off, probably, you know, I'm dead. So, so not so bad. So I say that I say that to explain why I like nightmares. Is more of a like I love simulations of things that can actually harm me. If somebody was like, hey, Omni, what are you afraid of? And I'm like, I'm afraid of crabs, bro. Like, crabs. I can't stand little critters. Or like Easy-Dora. Some of you guys know Easy-Dora. She's in the stream pretty often. She's afraid of slugs or snails. One of the two. Snails. It is. She's afraid of snails. And so it's like, somebody could be like, well, we have a big Olympic-sized swimming pool full of snails, and we're just going to dip you in it a couple of times. Now, that's different, right? Because the snails are actually... That's the thing that Isidora's afraid of. The snails are touching. The snails are touching her. She's like, I don't want anything to do with this. Now, if somebody was like, hey, put on this VR headset and we're going to have you be dipped into a vat of snails, that's a little bit different for me. I don't know about Isidore, but to me it's different. And I'm like, I'll do that. That sounds funny. Because at any point in the experience, one, I can either take off the VR headset, or two, I can remind myself, oh, this isn't real. It's just knowing that it's not real is like pretty cool. And again, I know that in nightmares, a lot of times we don't know it's real. Lucid nightmares are really dope, and I hope you all have one day. But I know most nightmares are not lucid. Most people, when they're in the nightmare, they think that this is the world and my world is crashing down. And I will admit that in that part of the nightmare, I'm not enjoying it at all.